Welcome back to Lost Forge Tabletop Gaming. It has finally happened, ladies and gentlemen. We have Keyforge back. It has been almost a year since the Ghost Galaxy purchasing of the game, the Kickstarter, everything. And as you can see by this beautiful mat, we have got ourselves some swag to look at. I'm going to move this just gently so you can get a better view of it. But this is the playmat for the custom deck I got. Duelist Water Elemental. That is me. Saurian, Mars, and the new house, which I still don't know the name off the top of my head. But we will look at it together. I am not going to show my deck list at this time, as I want to sleeve and make sure it looks good and understand it myself, because I got to know it. But we'll go over some of the other beautiful things that I got during the Kickstarter. So, one of the first things I did was I got a couple of these cool playmats. I got one for Sanctum and one for the Unfathomable. And we'll look at that box here in just a second. Alright, so this is the Sanctum mat. And I'll be switching out these mats depending on which video we're doing. But that is a gorgeous looking mat. It's nice, it's smooth. I wish that they did the frayed edges like a lot of new playmats are doing. But hey, I can't complain. That is still a gorgeous Sanctum mat. And then of course we have our second one, which is some sort of urchin creature. These are the first time I'm actually pulling them out of the box myself, so what I'm looking at here, oh, something came out of there. Oh, some paper. That one is fantastic. But I want to keep to my mat because it's one of a kind, baby. Next up, staying on the Unfathomable train, we have here tokens for the Unfathomable faction house. What this is a set of tokens, large size tokens to represent, we'll pop that up just a little bit so you can actually read that here. It is a set of the 4 different tokens that you can have if it's generated for your deck for Unfathomable. There are 4 tokens for each of the houses in the set, I believe. I don't know if you're able to buy these afterwards. I just like the art on these. If you look here, we've got, let's move my thumb, we got Fish. We've got the Cultist, which, that one's pretty nice. You got Playmat, or the Raider, and Priest. So I love the Unfathomable artwork, so I chose that one. Is that or Sanctum because, you know, me. Mars would have been a good one too. I do have a fond love of the Mars faction. Then, one last thing I want to show before we open a deck today. The Grim Reminders preview cards that came with my pack. I did post these on Reddit, but I will also post these here for those who don't browse Reddit and like to see some of the cool stuff that I have. Let's make sure I don't break this. We'll read out the note as well. You help make this possible. Your pledge to support Keyforge has made it possible to let's restart that. Your pledge to support Keyforge has made it possible to provide you with these 3 preview cards from the forthcoming 7th set Grim Reminders. Your 3 preview cards were chosen via computer algorithm, and it's possible that at least one of these cards was produced in a very limited quantity, one that might have been inked and signed by Keyforge designer Richard Garfield. Because Grim Reminders was still in development at the time of the preview cards were printed, the cards are still subject to change prior to their official release. We hope you sneak peek and get excited about the future of Keyforge. And the preview cards, and there's a cool image there of thank you, as well as that goofy little man. And we have the preview cards. First one we have is from Brobnar, Lifting Buddy. After fighting, after reaping, give lifting buddies 2 power counters, give a friendly creature 2 power counters. Very strong card. I really like this one. I'm hoping that this new cycle of Brobnar is more aggressive and better fitting for the current meta. Werewolf Curse. This creature gains Skirmish, Splash Attack 3, and after fight, destroy Werewolf's Curse. Something interesting about it is that this is a special algorithm card. It is not a rare, so it may be tied to other cards in the set for the Untamed. And finally, Gnarl Gibbous. Play after Reap, Enraged Gnarl Gibbous, search your deck for a discard pile for a Werewolf Curse and attach it to Gnarl Gibbous. So, these may generate together. Fantastic. Very interesting. Those are my preview cards. I wasn't lucky enough to get assigned a Richard Garfield card, which is a bummer that those are randomly generated, but what can you do? You can't sign every single one of them, even at my tier level. But finally, aside from additional packs I have purchased, we have here a beautiful Winds of Exchange box. Savor the moment. Ow. As I cut myself. No, I didn't really cut myself. Introducing the new house, the Merchant Compacts of the Equidon. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Every deck features a new token creature. Winds of Exchange features 260 new cards, creating an entirely new pool of unique decks that can discover, explore, and master. One deck per player is all you need to start your game. Display contains 12 Winds of Exchange decks. That's what we got here. Look at that pack. Now you notice that they have returned back to plastic or packaging. I believe that these are slightly different than the previous packs that you were seeing from Fantasy Flight. But let's get... Oh. There is not an easy tab to open these packs. I understand... Oh. Nope, I'm just dumb. There's one down here. It's... Oh. Yeah, there we go. Not easy to open, but there is a tab. And what magical beauties do we have? Oh my god, come on. They did not make the... They are sealed to keep in the flavor. Lasleon, the Creek Exarch, with Brobnar, Equidon, and Star Alliance. Make sure I'm covering up the QR code here as we jump into it. We do have a Skirmisher token, and if this is the first time you're seeing a deck list, it will tell you down here what house it is from and what the name of the token is. Tokens are cards that... I'm sorry, not cards. On the back of all cards on the set, it generates your house, your archons, and this token image right here. And as mentioned before, there are large size tokens as well if you want to read them. But I believe it's on the next card here. Yep, cool. Yep, Skirmisher. Skirmish for a 2-cost goblin. And yeah, got a frog in my throat. Anytime you generate a token, you'll take the top card of your deck, put it face down, and it will be represented by that token creature. Every card in your deck is that token, and when it is destroyed, it is added to your discard pile. Back of the token, of course, we got our quick reference sheet. This is just like what we'd see in Dark Tides with the Tide. The Dark Tidings with the Tide mechanic. Prefer this better, that way you have just a quick reference on what's going on. You don't have to worry about a card flipping in and out. Alright, there are some new keywords here if you have not seen them before. Of course, we got the token creatures, but we also have Splash Attack X. Ghost Galaxy has revised a lot of rulings and given wording to previously non-keyworded abilities that were commonly used throughout the game. Splash attack being one of them. When this creature with splash attack X attacks, deals X damage to each of the attack creature's neighbors. Then we have Salt, Elusive, and Exalt. So I have high hopes we will see some of that in this deck. Now, it has been such a very long time since I've seen cards in this game, so bear with me. I don't remember what's new and what's not, but we're going to look at it all the same. Uplink, great equipment, 1 amber. This creature gains action. Make a token creature for each creature of this creature's non-Starline's neighbors. So you can generate up to 2/2 skirmishers of skirmish every time you make this action on a creature. This one is special because it has 2 amber. It's better. Oh no! 3 uplinks. That's very interesting. Then we have Specialist Guthrak. Skirmish. After Fight Reap, capture 1 amber for each house represented among Specialist Guthrak and its neighbors. It looks like Star Alliance really cares about its non-Star Alliance neighbors this expansion. And then Scout Chief Carrier Jar. Make a token creature. After fight, after reap, make a token creature. Alright, so we already have 4 sources of token creation for this. Reveal up to 3 cards of different houses in your hand. Archive each card revealed this way. Not a bad card to set up your build. And then Echo Reflector. This creature gains your opponent's keys cost 3 amber. A pretty good effect. I don't know how many cards are going to be in the set that can remove upgrades, which is interesting. So this might be a very sticky way to slow down your opponent. I recognize this man right here. This is XO Tabar. You may play a non-Star Alliance card this turn. I really like this card. Very, very good card to set up your non-Star Alliance board. CO Officer Hawkins, deploy, which means you can place that anywhere on your board, not just on the left and right flank. Play, gain 1 amber for each of CO Officer's non-Star Alliance neighbors. Great setup card with some of these other token generators. Xeno Training. For each house represented among friendly creatures, a friendly creature captures 1 amber. Tactical Officer Moon, Assault 2, you may range the creatures in your player's battle lines. That's also really good. I'm seeing a lot of strong synergy on realigning your board to not be so flatlined with everybody kind of stacking up on your turn. Another deploy, enters player ready, use neighboring non-Star Alliance creature. And that is our rare for that faction. We're getting into new territory here. A friendly creature and an enemy creature each capture 3 amber from their opponents. Interesting. This one in particular, generate 2. They get to capture it right afterwards. There's some benefit to that. Make 2 token creatures. Reveal your hand to your opponent. Probably a card you want to play last. The reason why I'd say that is the least amount of cards your opponent knows are in your hand, the better, but a lot of very, very smart players will understand pretty quickly what's in your deck if they're able to memorize your deck list quickly. In draft, this is a lot more dangerous. The Old Tinker. Elusive, after reap, discard a card from your hand. Draw a card. That's a pretty good way to cycle your hand to set up a board or a hand that may not be as good. We just have a enhanced card with 2 amber and 1/1. Draw card. Mass buyout. Look how tiny they are. Look at the tiny little like strong boys with the copper gold pieces right there. Destroy each creature. Each player gains amber equal to half the number of creatures they controlled that were destroyed this way, rounded up. Okay. So that is a double-edged sword for sure. But if you've set up a really strong board or a board with a lot of tokens that you know your opponent may be able to remove or even purge, this might be a great card to reset and build up for a turn to Fortitude. With the amount of token generation stuff, that's very strong, and this will allow you to reclaim cards that were turned into tokens that you may need for following plays. So if you've created a lot of tokens and you're starting like, well, I'm kind of light on this faction, or one of my win conditions, we don't know if there is a good win condition in this deck, is face down as a token, Mass Buyout will kind of let us reclaim those skirmishers. And then we have Higher On. Make a token creature if there is a combined total of 6 or more amber between both player pools. Archive Hive On. Trying to think what a good reason for that. Make a 2/2 skirmisher in this deck if there is a combined total of 6 or more between both players. Archive this. Generous Offer. Destroy a friendly creature if you do steal 2. Again, another way for you to kind of reclaim cards. General Zaora. Skirmish for each forged key your opponent has. Make a token creature. Better in late game. Gemcoat Vendor. Steal 1, deal 1 to Gemcoat Vendor. Alright. Belligerent Guard. Your opponent draws a card, but it enters play ready for 8. That's... okay, your opponent draws a card, but you're able to kind of fix the board, or if there's something with capture that can really set up as well. I don't like giving opponents draw cards, especially in this game, but that's not bad. Shuffle 2 friendly creatures into their owner's decks. Return 4 enemy creatures to their owner's hands. Oh. Okay. That's very interesting. That can really reset the board, put a lot of amber back onto your side if there's a lot of captured, and yeah, shuffle 2 friendly creatures into your deck is a little rough. But if you play this when you have an empty board, return 4 creatures to your opponent's hand, and then build out your board with this house, it's not bad. Out-negotiate. Choose a card in your opponent's discard pile. Steal amber equal to the number of bonus pips icons on that card, and put that card in the bottom of the owner's deck. I don't like putting it at the bottom of the deck. Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. There is card recursion. So I think that might not be a bad thing to steal pips, put it at the bottom. Strato Smack. Deal 3 damage to a creature. If this damages destroys a creature, make that a creature token. Okay. Rowdy Scald. Enhance. Pound. Deal 2 to a creature and then 1 splash. Gnarl Sven. After an enemy creature is destroyed, fight Jarl Sven. Make a token creature. Jarl Sven must survive the fight. For 7, that's not bad. Fresh Marks. Destroy a friendly creature. If you do, exalt 3 enemy creatures. Again, tokens. If something's weak, pop it out, get some benefit from it. Fresh Marks. 2 of them. Deal 4 damage to a flank creature. If this damage destroys that creature, its controller loses 1 amber. Volca. Each friendly Brobnar creature gains splash 1 attack. Oh no. Oh, with the skirmisher? That's actually really scary. Set up the board with Star Alliance. Get a lot of skirmishers onto the board. Volca, 2 damage splash, 2 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage, 2 damage, and then splash, 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 splash. Because they have skirmisher, you're not losing a fight because they're dealing that damage. So they're dealing 2/1, 2/1, 2/1. That's a really good ability. Plus a draw card in hands on it. That's pretty spicy. For each creature you control in excess of your opponent, a friendly creature captures 1 amber. Each creature that cannot capture more than 1 amber this way. Okay. Great if you are building a wide board, which this deck wants to do. Depends on how fast your opponent can set up as well. Shattered Throne. Each creature used to fight, it captures 1. Okay. Yeah, I can see the potential of that. I can really see the potential of that. Iron Obelisk. Your opponent's keys cost +1 for each friendly damage Brobnar creature. There's not an easy way to damage my own creatures. There are damage pips in this, and I do have some damaging stuff. That's not bad. And then finally, Endless Hordes. For each enemy creature, make a token creature, ready it, and have it fight that enemy creature. Ignoring taunt, resolve these fights one at a time. Okay. Oh no. Wild. Okay. That just generates tokens based on your opponent's board for me because of skirmish. And the splash if you can. Okay. That's interesting. Really fascinating. I'm curious here. I'm gonna look at something. The power of this deck comes from the Brobnar, which is strange because Brobnar is relatively looked at as a weak faction. I'm not seeing enough combat tricks from within the Brobnar house. Brobnar house is probably the second strongest. Star Alliance is probably our strongest for token creation and just the multi-house functionality. I feel like I'm going to be leaning a lot on these two stacks of cards, including the Skirmisher, over a lot of the tricks that the new house has. And the amber control on this isn't good. The destroy each creature thing is very fascinating. Discard a card, draw a card. Yeah, the utility on this is kind of light. It doesn't have any rares, it doesn't have any exceptional cards. A lot of it went into like I said, Star Alliance, Tactical Officer, Moon, and Crash. That's not bad. Yeah, it is a interesting deck. There's no way I can pull up a SAS at this time. As we're recording this, decks of Keyforge cannot pull from the database because the database does not support Winds of Exchange. That said, I want to give this deck a hopeful B. I would say it's probably between 65 and 70 is my estimation. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. It's very strong on Brobnar. It has a very interesting playstyle, I think. If this deck got either of the other factions, I don't think a lot of the cards would have worked well for this particular token. That said, I'm still learning the game. I don't know what tokens are available in total for each house, but I kind of like Skirmisher in this deck. I think the right token for the right job. That has been Lazleon Creek Exarch Skirmisher Extraordinaire. And it's good to be opening Keyforge again. Let me know down below what cards you've been opening up, what kind of decks you've been seeing. And as a teaser for the next time we look at Keyforge, we have some special decks. I want to look into. Well, not you. We have two of the unstable. Are they called unstable? They are Unchained. We've got two Unchained decks and a Kickstarter backer deck that we can open up and take a look. I was giddy. I wanted to look. So keep that in mind. And once again, thank you very much for watching. This has been Water Elemental or Camter from Lost Forge Tabletop Gaming. Who knows? I have both names going on at once right now. And thank you very much for watching. See you next time.